Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Cognitive Recalibration Podcast. As always, I'm your host Shravan. We've got Taran here with us.
Hey everyone.
We're back to remote podcasting because we're back in lockdown again. So we're planning to do something else today, but because it's Valentine's Day, coincidentally, we thought we'd talk about some romantic comedies. Just an excuse to talk about some romantic comedies because we don't usually talk about them.
Yeah, have we done this before?
Nah, this is the first time. I guess we should make it an annual thing because we do a Christmas episode every year.
Okay.
So I guess we should do a Valentine's Day episode. So similar to our Christmas episodes, which you might have listened to in the past, we're going to talk about a movie each, and could be a good one, could be an okay one, or it could be a really bad one. Could be anything really. And I've sort of given away what I'm going to be talking about on our Instagram if you checked out our story, but Taran still hasn't revealed to me what he's going to be talking about. So we'll get into it.
To be honest, I didn't know we were doing this, so I gotta think of a movie right now.
Oh, great. All right. Okay.
So I guess you should go first.
I'll go first.
And while you're doing your movie, I will I'll watch a movie.
Well, you can pick
no, I'll just watch one right now.
You can pick any rom-com that's ever been made.
Okay.
You've got some.
Yep.
You've got some choice. All right. I'm going to be talking about the one, I guess, that we probably should be talking about on Valentine's Day, the movie Valentine's Day, that came out in 2010, directed by Gary Marshall. So this is one of those movies where there's all these interconnecting storylines. So it's similar to, it's like a Love Actually pretty much, but on Valentine's Day. And it's got a very big star cast, and each of them have their own story, but then it sort of interconnects with someone else's story. So it's like a cinematic universe, but it's all in one movie. That's how I describe it. So it's like if you got Marvel and you put it all into one movie, that's this movie. Except, obviously, it's not superheroes. I'll go through who's in this movie, and it's a very big list. You haven't seen this, right?
I've seen it on TV once, I think. Not the whole thing. It's very boring. I don't know how you watch the whole thing.
I'll go through my thoughts on it.
It's got Scarlett Johansson?
No.
No.
She's not in this one.
That's a different one.
Yeah.
It's got Taylor Swift?
Yeah. It's got Taylor Swift.
Anne Hathaway?
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher?
Yes. That's the one. I think you're thinking of the right one. Unless they're all in another movie. Apart from those people that you just described, there's Jessica Alba, Kathy Bates, Jessica Biel, Bradley Cooper, Patrick Dempsey, Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Garner, Topher Grace, Taylor Lautner, and Emma Roberts, Julia Roberts. I think that's about it. Probably other people that are missed as well. There's a lot of different characters, obviously. I can go through what the story is, but it'll probably take us like a whole episode just to go through what happens in this movie because there's so many interconnecting storylines. The thing is, there's all these storylines, but nothing actually really happens in the movie. So the main character is Ashton Kutcher. So the movie starts with him. Spoilers for this movie that came out on Valentine's Day in 2010. I think it actually did it came out on February 12th, 2010. So almost Valentine's Day.
2 days before.
Well, a bit about the budget and the box office. So budget-wise, it had a budget of $52 million, which is, for a rom-com, it's on the high end, but I guess it has a lot of different star actors in it. So they probably spent most of that money for the actors. What surprised me most is the box office this made. So can you guess what this made?
$2.5 billion. It's actually the highest grossing film of all time.
So it made $216 million, which is a lot more than I thought it made. I thought this was not a good movie and it wouldn't have made that much money, but it made more money than it definitely should have. Getting into the story, it starts with Ashton Kutcher and Jessica Alba. So they're boyfriend, girlfriend, and he proposes to her on the morning of... This guy's a big day. This guy's a big Valentine's Day because firstly, he's a florist. So it's like the busiest day of the year for him. Second, he proposes to his girlfriend first thing in the morning and she says yes. So he's like, he gets off to a good start. But then in the middle of the day, his girlfriend realizes that she wasn't sure about it and she dumps him on the same day that she accepts him. So he gets dumped like literally like 3 hours later. And then by the end of the day, he gets together with his best friend. So it all happens in one day. So he gets engaged and gets together with his best friend.
Who's his best friend?
His best friend's Jennifer.
Don Cheadle?
No, well, that might have been interesting. He's not in this movie.
I thought he had a cameo.
His best friend's Jennifer Garner. So Jennifer Garner is a teacher, like a primary school teacher. So this is how it's all interconnected. So Jennifer Garner is Ashton Kutcher's best friend. She's a primary school teacher. There's a kid in her class that has his own story, like this little kid that wants to propose to someone on Valentine's Day. You find out who it is at the end of the movie. His grandparents.
Don Cheadle.
Again, he doesn't, I don't know, maybe he has like a mystery cameo in this movie that I missed out on. But his grandparents have their own story. His grandparents are, they're people that I've seen before. He's like, you know, the guy in Princess Diaries, the security guard or whatever?
No, I don't. Is it, unless it's Don Cheadle, I don't know who it is.
Okay, so anyway, the grandparents have their own story. Apart from that, there's Julia Roberts and Bradley Cooper, who are on a 14-hour plane journey. So they have their own story. And then there's Jessica Biel, who's a PR manager for a quarterback, an NFL quarterback. So she has her own story. And the NFL quarterback also has his own story. And then there's Jamie Foxx.
Who's the NFL quarterback?
He looks familiar. He's probably in stuff. His name is...
Don Cheadle.
No, he's white, so it's definitely not Don Cheadle. It's Eric Dane. I think he's in like Grey's Anatomy or something. Not Patrick Dempsey. Because Patrick Dempsey's also in this, who's in Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, okay.
But it's another one.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's the NFL quarterback. And I think he's meant to be like Tom Brady, but I guess it's like Tom Brady now. He's like an older quarterback. And they're like, he should be retiring, and his team drops him, and he's like free agent now, and media's speculating on what he's going to do with his future, if he's going to retire or is he going to continue. And then there's Jamie Foxx, who is a sports reporter for a TV channel, and he doesn't like Valentine's Day, and he's like the second sports reporter, and on Valentine's Day there's not that much sports news, so they put him on a lifestyle segment where he has to go around and talk to people about Valentine's Day. So that's his story. Who else is there? There's Topher Grace and Anne Hathaway, and they have a bit of a story. They're boyfriend, girlfriend, and Anne Hathaway does this part-time job where she does like adult phone calls. That's her job, and Topher Grace doesn't know about it, so that's like their conflict. You find out in between. There's Taylor Swift and Taylor Lautner. They have their own...
Taylor Squared.
They have like a story that like literally goes nowhere. So the boyfriend, girlfriend at the start, like most of these stories go nowhere, but theirs literally goes nowhere. The boyfriend, girlfriend at the start, and they just that. There's a couple of scenes with them and that's it. They don't really do much with them. Then there's Emma Roberts and some other guy who are classmates of Taylor Swift and Taylor Lautner. So they sort of have their own story as well. And Emma Roberts is the babysitter to the kid in Jennifer Garner's class. So that's how they're connected.
Okay.
I think at some point everyone ends up talking to Ashton Kutcher because they all want flowers or something. So all of them end up talking to Ashton Kutcher at some stage. So he's sort of the main character. But yeah, I think that's all the stories. Oh yeah, and then there's Patrick Dempsey, who Jennifer Garner was dating or is dating at the start of the movie, but she finds out that he's cheating on his wife. So he's already married, and he told her that he's divorced, but he isn't divorced. And yeah, she finds out. Well, Ashton Kutcher finds out actually, because he goes to buy flowers.
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, he goes to buy flowers from Ashton Kutcher, and he buys 2 sets of flowers, and he tells him that, one's for his wife and one's for his girlfriend. And then he finds out that the girlfriend is Jennifer Garner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A lot happens, but also nothing happens in the whole movie. I thought there would have been a scene, at least like towards the end, where they all get together in the same place, but they don't. There's no scene like that. They're all like in different places. But a bit about Gary Marshall. So this guy, firstly, he directed Princess Diaries 1 and 2.
Oh, yes. My 2 favorite movies.
Which I mentioned before. He directed Pretty Woman and Runaway Bride with Julia Roberts. And then towards the end of his career, he directed this movie, and then he directed New Year's Eve, and then he directed Mother's Day, which was his last movie.
Oh, yeah. That came out like last year, 2 years ago.
I think
Not that long ago.
2016 came out.
Oh, really? It was that far back? I thought it was closer.
Yeah, I think it was 2016. So that like all of the, I don't know about Mother's Day, but I know New Year's Eve is like one of these movies as well, where there's all these different stories.
It's just based off Love Actually, isn't it? It's like the Love Actually formula.
Pretty much. And I think this movie would have been better if it was actually funny, but it was funny unintentionally sometimes, but it wasn't really funny at all.
Is it? I don't know if it's a comedy though. Is it a comedy?
I thought it was meant to be like I guess maybe not. I thought it was meant to be like a romance / comedy / interconnected stories type movie. I guess Love Actually is not funny either, is it? It's not a comedy.
It's got comedic parts, but I don't think it's a comedy.
So it's basically just trying to be like a Love Actually. I counted how long. So
for some reason, I thought the guy that made Love Actually also made this movie, but turns out it's just a guy trying to copy Love Actually.
Yeah. Well, he ends up doing Love Actually 3 times. So he's done it more than the actual guy who made Love Actually. Timed how long the starting credits go for, because the credits, like there's stuff happening in the background, but they show all the people's names in the movie, every actor. Yeah. So it goes for 7.5 minutes, the starting credits. And then...
How long's the movie?
It's 2 hours, so it's a pretty long movie. It's longer than it needs to be. And then I counted, I also timed how long it takes before we introduce to all the characters in the movie. Who do you think the last character is that they introduce?
Don Cheadle in the post-credit scene. But before that, last character is Julia Roberts.
No, it's not. She's like towards the end. I think she's like 20 minutes into the movie. You get introduced to her. But
are you asking for time?
Time
the last character there.
Time and character, yeah.
Okay. Time like an hour in?
No, well, that would be ridiculous if it was that. It's pretty long though. It's like 35 minutes into the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're introduced to Taylor Lautner. So he's the last one out of the main characters that you get introduced to. That's like a long time. That's like a quarter of the way into the movie and you're still introducing characters. You know, I could easily tear this movie to shreds. It's not that bad. I didn't think it was as bad as I thought it would be. Because there is some parts that are slightly interesting, I guess. Like, I think Jennifer Garner and Ashton Kutcher's stories are sort of semi-interesting. The ones that definitely could go out are the Taylor's one. The Taylor's
Taylor
story.
Squared?
Yeah, the Taylor Squared story.
How's Taylor Swift in acting?
Not good. Pretty bad.
But it's Taylor.
She's not good.
That's not what I wanted to hear.
I don't know. Like, is Ashton Kutcher meant to be... He's not like a good actor, right? I don't think he's known...
Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah.
I think he's an alright actor.
Like,
Hasn't he been nominated for Oscars?
I don't think so. Has he? I don't think so.
I thought he has.
For what?
I don't know. Some movie. Did he get nominated for that Steve Jobs one?
I thought his one was really bad.
Maybe he's a shit actor. I don't know. He was on That 70s Show for a while.
And so was Topher Grace, right? And they're both in this. I think generally people thought back then, especially when this movie came out, that he wasn't a good actor. And the Taylor Squares, even Taylor Lautner, he's not very good in this. They make him look like he's Al Pacino in this movie. They make his acting look so much better. So the Taylors, they can go. They don't need to be in this movie.
Ashton Kutcher's won Worst Actor for Valentine's Day in 2011 in The Golden Raspberries. Never been nominated for an Oscar, but he has won Worst Actor before, so he's been the best at something.
He's been the best at being the worst. Okay, yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
For this movie,
it's for this. So I was praising his acting in this movie, and that he got a Worst Actor award for this. So that just tells you how bad the Taylors were, because the Taylors were like terrible in this. They're like cringeworthy in this. Especially Taylor Swift. She was not good. And she's only in like 2 scenes as well. And she was not good in those scenes.
That's not what I like to hear.
And Jessica Biel. So there's one part in this movie. So Jessica Biel has this I Hate Valentine's Day annual party in this year of the movie. She's also holding it, but no one RSVP, so 0 people. And for some reason, she has it in an Indian restaurant. No idea why. She has it in an Indian restaurant. And there's like an Indian wedding party happening in like one of the other rooms. And then people start turning up. So Jennifer Garner turns up because she finds out that Patrick Dempsey was cheating on her. So she turns up. And then just all these random people turn up and Jamie Foxx turns up and they end up having a party and they're like burning, you know what, how these like I Hate Valentine's things work, how they like burn stuff. Like burn
Yeah, I
photos
have
and
one
stuff.
every year, man.
Oh, you got one later today. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I could leave in like half an hour. We better wrap this up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They start burning stuff in this Indian restaurant.
And then the Indian restaurant burns down and they get sued.
Well, that doesn't happen. It's for some reason they get
Don Cheadle's the lawyer.
they get past it. But yeah, so she gets to get. So I'll tell you who gets together with who. So Ashton Kutcher gets together with Jennifer Garner. Jessica Biel gets together with Jamie Foxx because they end up meeting. There's like 2 scenes with them. The 2 old people stay together and Taylors stay together. Who else is there? Have I missed anyone? Bradley Cooper. He's actually together with the NFL quarterback. So the NFL quarterback comes out in a press conference. Well, he comes out of the closet in a press conference. He has the least screen time. And who else is there? Julia Roberts. She actually has the most authentic story in this whole thing. So she's coming back from somewhere, like she's taking this 14-hour flight and she works in the army. So she only comes back for 1 day every year. And her and Bradley Cooper are on the same flight. So they're sitting next to each other and they chat throughout the flight. And she gets off at the airport and she needs to like catch a bus or something. It takes her like an hour to get to her place. So Bradley Cooper, who I think is like some wealthy businessman, he gives her his car so she can drive. And she's actually coming back to see her son. Throughout the whole movie, you think she's coming back to see her husband or something, but she's coming back to see her son. And the son is the guy who wanted to propose to someone in Jennifer Garner's class. So it's that kid. That kid is Julia Roberts' son.
Oh, okay. I thought Julia Roberts' son would be older, but I guess he's in primary school. When you said he's coming back to see his son and you're like, you want to propose to someone in Julia Roberts' class, I'm like, whoa, this is getting dicey.
Oh, yeah. So the kid.
This is illegal.
You find out that the kid, he wanted to, because he goes to Ashton Kutcher's store to get flowers for someone in his class. And you find out that he was getting flowers for Jennifer Garner. So he wanted to propose to his teacher, essentially.
Oh, okay. So it is getting dicey.
So he turns up to the Indian restaurant because one of his friends, so one of the girls in his class works at the Indian restaurant as well. And then, yeah, Jennifer Garner's like, oh, why don't you give it to Rani? So Rani's the girl. And yeah, he ends up giving it to Rani gives the flowers to Rani instead of Jennifer Garner.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, I say
averted.
that Julia Roberts one is the best one because you don't find out why she's coming back till the very end. There's also like a scene in between where the kid is playing soccer and he sees all the kids going up to their mums, you know, telling them how they like scored goals and stuff. And he's like by himself. And that comes back at the end. So that's the only good part in the whole movie. The rest is
good payoff.
Is not great. And Bradley, yeah, you find out Bradley Cooper is with the NFL at the end. It's not that bad. It is boring, but there are some parts that are okay. And I can see people enjoying this as like a background movie. So it's not horrible, but I'll still give it a cognitive regression, obviously. It's not the worst. I think maybe New Year's Eve, which I haven't seen. We'll do that in another episode at some stage.
On New Year's Eve?
On New Year's Eve, yeah, we'll do a New Year's Eve episode. Probably that's worse. But what's this on Rotten Tomatoes? Let me check. I'd be surprised if it's more than 20%. What do you think it is?
29%.
It is 18%.
Ooh.
18% with 190 reviews, and then audience rating is 47%.
So some people do like it.
Kathy Bates is in it. So she's in it for like literally 2 scenes, but she's the top billing actor. She's like the second name that comes up.
It's because she won an Oscar.
But she's just like a production worker at Jamie Foxx's television channel, like the one he works for. She's in 2 scenes. But most people are in 2 scenes, I guess. When you have this many actors, you can't really have more than like 5 scenes. The only one that gets decent footage is probably Ashton Kutcher. I got a bit of trivia. I think Julia Roberts is in this movie for about 6 minutes. How much do you think she got paid for 6 minutes?
$1 million.
So she got $3 million for this movie, which equates to almost $12,000 per word that she says in the movie. And then on top of that, so apparently that was just her like base pay. And then she also got a percentage of the total gross. So she got like 3% of the total gross that the movie made. So she ended up making like 10 million from this movie. And she's in it for 6 minutes.
Jeez.
And apparently they wanted to get Sandra Bullock for the role of Julia Roberts. And she turned it down and she did The Blind Side instead. And I'm pretty sure she won an Oscar or something for that.
Yeah, I think that is a better choice.
Yes.
I think she made the right call.
Yeah.
She definitely made the right call.
There's a couple of references to Pretty Woman because this is directed by the same guy who made Pretty Woman. So
Pretty Woman's meant to be a good movie, isn't it? I haven't seen it.
I think it's probably better than this. And it's popular.
Maybe I should talk about... I'll talk about that one. I'll put it on right now.
Have you seen it?
Nah, that's why I'll watch it right now and then I'll talk about it when you get to the end of this review.
All right. I'm not going to go for much longer, but anyway.
No, I'll put it on ×2 speed.
There's a part at the end where the chauffeur, so Bradley Cooper's chauffeur, is driving Julia Roberts to her house, and he mentions Rodeo Drive, which is, I think it's like a shopping district in Los Angeles, and he's like, have you ever been there? And then Julia Roberts is like, yeah, I did once. It was a big mistake. Big, huge. Apparently she says the exact same thing in Pretty Woman when she goes shopping there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That is the worst Easter egg of all time.
This is the second biggest opening for a romantic comedy ever, just behind the Sex and the City movie in 2008 with 57 million.
Is that a romantic comedy movie?
I guess it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's what IMDb is telling me. So yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right. And I've told you who's in this movie in terms of the star cast. Can you tell me which of the cast members have been in Marvel or DC movies?
Jennifer Garner has.
Yeah. Elektra. Yeah.
Julia Roberts, no. Ashton Kutcher, no. Taylor's, no. Jamie Foxx has.
Yeah. Electro. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah.
Oh, the other guy has. Topher Grace has.
Yep. Spider-Man 3.
Is that all of them or is there more?
There's more.
I'm trying to remember who else is in this movie that you just mentioned. I don't know. Who else is there?
Okay, so there's Anne Hathaway as Catwoman.
Oh, Anne Hathaway in Batman. Yeah.
There's Jessica Alba.
I forgot she was in this movie.
There's Jessica Alba, who was Sue Storm.
Oh, yeah, Fantastic Four. I thought you said Jessica Biel was in this movie.
Yeah, Jessica Biel is also in this movie.
It's Jessica Alba in this as well.
Yeah, so she's the one that Ashton Kutcher gets engaged to in the beginning, and then she dubs him.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, and Jessica Biel...
I didn't even know she was in this movie.
Yeah, and Jessica Biel was in Blade Trinity.
Oh, she's in Blade Trinity. That's right, yeah.
And then obviously Bradley Cooper is Rocket Raccoon.
Oh, so I forgot he was in this movie.
Apparently Eric Dane, so this is the NFL quarterback dude, apparently he was multiple man in X-Men The Last Stand.
Oh, yeah, I totally remember that.
I think that's all of them. I think we've covered all of them. Yeah, that's it. That is Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day. So it's on Netflix.
Perfect.
Don't pay for this. I'm not even going to put the link for it, but just watch it on Netflix.
Pirate Bay link below.
Oh, yeah, and there's one dialogue in this movie, and I think it epitomizes the whole approach that they took to this. So Ashton Kutcher says, it's Valentine's Day. You don't think, you just do. And I think that's the philosophy.
That's what they did for this movie.
That's the philosophy that they had for this movie. So they just like, let's just get all these actors. Let's not think about a story. Let's just do stuff.
Yeah. Let's just do it.
That's Valentine's Day.
Cool.
What a movie.
Sounds good. I'll watch it right now. After I finish watching Pretty Woman, which I'm currently watching.
All right.
Actually, I'll watch them in unison. I'll have one over the other.
Yeah, and you can pick up all the Easter eggs. I only talked about one Easter egg. Apparently there's other ones as well.
Oh, okay.
There's other...
Do they happen at the same point in each movie, so I'll be able to tell.
So apparently there's a scene with Anne Hathaway on a bench or something, and Julia Roberts sits on the same bench in Pretty Woman or something like that. There's like...
Oh, yes. Yeah. I can't wait to pick up on all these Easter eggs. But I got to finish it before I go burn some Valentine's Day pictures or whatever. So.
And you have to like smash a piñata as well. That's what they do. They have a heart-shaped piñata.
Well, you don't need to tell me, man. I do this every year.
All right, I'll let you do it. Do you do it at an Indian restaurant?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Book it out every year.
Okay, cool. So have you picked a movie to talk about?
Yes, I have.
All
It's
right.
called Valentine's Day. Came out in 2010. Directed by Gary Marshall.
Yeah, you get to hear about it twice now.
Yeah.
The same.
We're going to do the same review over again. This time I'll be explaining it though.
So what's your movie? What are you going to tell us about?
Okay, so according to Wikipedia, this movie is a science fiction romantic comedy, so I guess it fits the bill. Have I already talked about this movie on this podcast? Maybe I have. Have I talked about Palm Springs?
No, you haven't. No.
I haven't talked about Palm Springs. Okay, Palm Springs is a 2020 American science fiction comedy movie. Romantic comedy movie, sorry. So it fits the bill for Valentine's Day.
And it
So
released
it's
direct to Amazon, didn't
in
it?
2020.
Yeah. I have not seen it, but yes, tell us about it.
Okay, it's directed by Max Barbacow, who I've never heard of, and it's written by Andy Sierra, who I've also never heard of. But it has Andy Samberg from Brooklyn Nine-Nine fame, and Kristen Milioti, who she's the mother in How I Met Your Mother. She's the mother, the mother that he meets.
I was just going to say, is that a spoiler for How I Met Your Mother?
Yes, it is. But if you haven't seen that now, then you're a bit late. It's also got it's got J.K. Simmons, and it's got that guy that plays Superman in that new TV show, Superman and Lois.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He plays Superman in Supergirl, right? The same guy?
Yeah, same guy, that
Yeah.
dude. And it's got that chick from Riverdale, whose name I forget. But anyway, she's in it.
Okay. I don't watch Riverdale, so I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, she's in like other Netflix movies. I can't remember which one.
Okay, yeah.
She's in like that Perfect Date movie. Have you seen that one?
Perfect Day, yeah.
I think it's
Which
Perfect
girl?
Date. Yeah. Like the not the main girl in that, the other girl.
Okay, yeah. I think I know the one you're talking about, yeah.
Well, if you know, yeah, if you know her, you would know her from Riverdale, probably.
So I think I said this came out on Amazon. It came out on Amazon for us, didn't it? But I think it's on Hulu
Did it come out? Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Hulu in America, maybe.
in America.
Yep,
Yeah, because apparently it's got the most. It's got the record for the most viewed Hulu release in the first weekend of the streaming service.
And it's actually not bad. It's a stark contrast to your movie because it's not shit. It's not dog shit.
Hey, didn't I sell Valentine's Day? Like after listening to this episode, I think everyone's going to go and watch Valentine's Day.
Okay, I want everyone to email in and tell me, did you watch my movie or did you watch his movie? Or did you watch none of them? which might be the most popular answer. Let's see. Yeah. So Palm Springs, it's a romantic comedy. It's a time loop comedy.
So it's like a Groundhog Day situation.
Yeah, so it follows Andy Samberg's character who it's at this wedding basically. So he goes to the wedding because it's his girlfriend's friend's wedding. And so that's why he's at the wedding. And Kristen Milioti, it's her sister's wedding. And so he's just a random at this wedding basically. Like no one knows him there. And he somehow gets stuck in this time loop. And he basically spends a lot of time at this wedding. You don't know exactly how long, but it's been many years of him being at this wedding, basically. And then he accidentally drags Kristen Milioti into the time loop as well. So then they are kind of in the time loop at the wedding together.
Do they get older or are they just stuck in the same age?
No, they're just stuck in the same day each day. Yeah. I don't want to spoil the movie too much because it's actually pretty good. So people should go watch it. But basically, there's like this cave that he goes into one day. And then after he goes into the cave, he keeps waking up the same day and he can't get out of the time loop. So like if he dies, he just wakes up the same day.
And who's J.K. Simmons?
So J.K. Simmons' character. This is a slight spoiler. If you don't want any spoilers, don't listen to this part. But J.K. Simmons' character, one day when Andy Samberg's in the time loop, he like parties with J.K. Simmons, and they like do drugs and all this stuff, and they're having like a good time. And then J.K. Simmons like, I wish I could live this day every day. And then Andy Samberg's like, I can make that happen. And then he puts him into the time loop with him. And then J.K. Simmons gets angry at him and he goes to kill him every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he asked for it.
Yeah, there's this one funny part where he's like torturing Andy Samberg. He's like, I thought I was doing you a favor. But yeah, it's funny. It's got good comedy. It's
Andy Samberg's a pretty funny guy.
yeah, he's very funny in it.
Yeah.
And it's also got like it's good serious moments as well. But basically there's like the Superman's getting married to the mother's wife, the How I Met Your Mother's wife.
Yeah.
No, sister, sorry. The How I Met Your Mother's sister. Also the Riverdale girl. Yeah.
Okay, so the Riverdale girl is the one getting married, who is the
To Superman.
How I Met Your Mother's sister.
Sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How I
yeah.
Met Your Mother's
So
mother's
that's-
sister. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the wedding that they're at, basically.
Yeah.
And
it's in Palm Springs, supposedly.
Yes. And yeah, it's just about how they deal with being in the same day over and over again together. It's kind of like, it's a good movie because it's kind of like isolation and being in lockdown with the same person over and over because the day just seems like the same over and over again. So it's like, it's kind of like that.
So it's contextual to what we are going through with COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's Andy Samberg's like been in it for many, many years. So he's like, he knows there's this part at the start where he's on the dance floor and he knows where everyone's going to be at every time. Like some guy's about to fall over and he puts a chair behind him and then he like knows this guy's going to do this dance move. So he like does the dance move with him. It's like he's been in it for so long that he knows like all the ins and outs.
Yeah. So essentially like Groundhog Day where he learns how to play the piano and stuff in Groundhog Day. Like he's like
Yeah, but he learns nothing. He just learns what happens at the wedding and he just gets drunk every day and that's it.
Okay.
But he's been there so long, he forgets what job he had beforehand. He's like, at one point the girl says, "What do you do?" And he's like, "I can't remember." But it's an interesting watch.
I heard it's pretty good. And a lot of people have it in their top movies of 2020. So
Definitely worth watching. And it's better than Valentine's Day. I can give you that as 100% surety. It is better than Valentine's Day.
anything else on Palm Springs then?
I don't know. Do you want to know anything else about it?
Obviously a cognitive recalibration from you. Yeah.
I don't want to give too much away about it because it's pretty good. So I think people should just go watch it.
Yeah.
It's not that long either. It's like an hour and a half.
In Australia, it's on Amazon Prime, and in the States, it must be on Hulu because it was a Hulu exclusive. We don't have Hulu here, so.
So if you're choosing between Valentine's Day and Palm Springs, I guess that's your answer there.
Watch 27 Dresses instead.
27 Dresses. I haven't seen that one.
It's the one with Katherine Heigl.
I guess I'll put it on right now.
She makes.
I'm now going to watch 3 movies in unison. Pretty Woman is like a third of the way through. Valentine's Day's halfway. And I'll start 27 Dresses now.
It's about a lady that makes dresses for weddings, and she never gets married.
But she can't get married. How sad.
Yeah, she wears 27 dresses at some stage throughout the movie. I think that's what's
No, I think she makes 27 dresses.
maybe. And the 27th is her
She
own.
she's a dressmaker.
Yeah.
Yes, so she makes 26 dresses, and then the 27th one must be her dress.
So you haven't seen this movie, right?
No. This is a good idea for a podcast. We should review movies we've never seen before.
Okay. Like, as in we haven't seen, even while we're reviewing them, we haven't seen them.
No, even while we're reviewing, we haven't seen them, but we should review them.
Yeah, so I think, well, I've seen 27 Dresses, so this doesn't really count, but maybe another movie that we haven't seen, we can do that.
I haven't seen 27 Dresses. Did I get the plot right?
I vaguely remember that maybe that's what happens. I actually can't remember.
Okay.
I saw it a while ago. But yeah, it's about a lady that makes wedding dresses. That's all I remember from it.
Email in if I got the plot right. And the next podcast, I'm not going to watch any movies and I'm just going to review something off the bat.
Okay, well, New Year's Eve, I think that's a cognitive regression from us. It's about a group of people on New Year's Eve.
On New Year's Eve, yeah. One of them stuck on a rooftop. I think it's Zac Efron. He's stuck on a rooftop.
Okay, which city is he in? Like New York or something?
New York. I think he's in New York, yeah.
That's not a bad place to be stuck on New Year's Eve on the rooftop on New York. I don't think it should be
I think it's with a girl. Yeah, it's with some girl. I can't remember which girl it is.
Unless the girl's really annoying or something, then it might be
Yeah,
a bit.
maybe she's annoying.
Yeah.
But then he's like, oh, she's not actually that annoying. I like her.
Who else is in New Year's Eve? Has Gary Marshall got some of his favourites back, like Julia Roberts? Let's see, New Year's Eve movie. Not New Year's Eve celebrations in Melbourne. I don't want that.
Are we actually reviewing this movie? It's just out of nowhere.
All right, let's see who's in it. There's Halle Berry. Jessica Biel makes a comeback in this one. John Bon Jovi. Abigail Breslin. Ludacris. Robert De Niro, okay. Josh Duhamel. Zac Efron. Katherine Heigl, she's in this one. Apparently she was going to be in Valentine's Day, but she turned it down. Well, they turned her down because she asked for too much money.
Okay.
Ashton Kutcher's in this one, again. Seth Meyers, Sarah Jessica Parker, Michelle Pfeiffer, Hilary Swank, Sofia Vergara.
Sounds really good.
There's people in it.
Don't watch any of the movies we've said. Go watch New Year's Eve.
Yeah. And what Zac Efron stranded on a New York rooftop.
On a rooftop. With one of the people that he just said. Who knows which one? Could be any of them. Could be Don Cheadle. Who knows?
Yeah, Don Cheadle needs to be in one of these movies. I think that's all we had to talk about Valentine's Day movies. Yeah, obviously one was not good and one was pretty good. So,
and then one was New Year's Eve.
And one was New Year's Eve, which is not related to Valentine's Day, but yeah. I mean, Valentine's Day is like a rubbish concept anyway. Like, who cares about it?
Oh, how dare you. All the Valentine's Day. All the Valentine's Day believers have switched off the podcast now.
Says the guy who's doing a I Hate Valentine's Day party straight after this.
Oh, I do it because I love it. It's like a love-hate relationship.
Okay. Cool. So if people want to get in touch with us and tell us about another Valentine's Day movie or romantic comedy that we should talk about, either by watching it or not by watching it and just trying to reveal it, how can they get in touch with us?
So they can do contact us on Cognitive Recalibration on all platforms, or email us at cognitivrecalibrationpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can do so via our Amazon affiliate links, which we will not have any in this episode. I refuse to link Valentine's Day Mail. I'll just link a link to Netflix, I guess, because it's on Netflix. Just watch it on Netflix. But you can support us via Buy Me a Coffee as well. So you can give us a one-off donation, which we'll use to further develop the podcast. Above all, if you can just give us a good review on iTunes or Spotify, that makes us more discoverable on search engines. So there's a lot of digital content in general now. So for people to find us, it'll help if we have some good reviews, because then it'll pop up when you search for Valentine's Day podcast and you'll get this episode. So that would help us a lot. That brings us to the end of another episode.
Yes,
Yes, just a dramatic pause just there. But I guess we'll make this an annual thing. We'll talk about
maybe
rom-coms. I mean, we talk about rom-coms sometimes. Probably not that much in terms of our content. So this gives us an excuse to talk about rom-coms. I think the only other one,
my favorite movies.
The only other one we've probably talked about is Crazy Rich Asians, where we actually devoted a whole episode for it.
That's a rom-com.
Yeah. I don't think
I should have just pasted that review in today. No one would have realised.
But I don't think we've done many others. So yeah, if you have any suggestions that you want us to talk about, just send them through. All right, then. I guess that brings us to the end of the episode. So I hope you're all doing well and staying safe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you in the next one.